hot dogs. More Theros, Beyond Death, spoilers. And some of these cards, they just keep amazing me. Like, I'm very impressed at the power level of this set. Something we haven't seen in quite some time. And, like, playable cards. Like, really good, powerful, playable cards. Stuff for everything. Standard, modern, commander. I mean, the list kind of goes on. Let's get into these Theros Beyond Death spoilers. Oh, boy. All right, so we got Mantle of the Wolf. It is a 4-drop. Enchantment Aura. Enchant Creature. Enchanted creature gets +4/+4. That's already pretty decent. When Mantle of the Wolf is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, create 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. That's great. That's really good. It is a 4-drop though, but if you're going like some kind of wolf synergy strategy with Tolsimar or whatnot, this would be a great addition to that kind of build. Being able to get 2, not just 1, but 2. Like, I had to reread this card. I'm like, really? There's 2 on there? 2/2 green wolf creature tokens. That's pretty good. I have no complaints about that whatsoever. It's a very, very... I'm not saying it's going to be busted. This is not even close to being a busted card. But it's a very good card. It's not too bad. Eutropia, the twice favored. Sweet art on that. 3-drop. Another thing, Simic decks, man. Oh, gosh. I think they're just going to dominate. Maybe not entirely, but there's some power. You're going to see a lot of it. This one's not bad whatsoever. It's a 3-drop Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And until the end of turn, that creature is going to gain flying. Not too shabby at all, especially if you're going the whole route of enchantments, you know. It is a deuce. Good card. Constellation ability, yet again. Really, really cool. Here we have some very interesting stuff. So this synergizes great with like something like Nelia, or at least you'd want to run this the intervention in this kind of deck. Dryad of, let me say this right, Elysian Grove. Sure, it's a 3-drop. Enchantment creature Nymph. You guys know what a Nymph is? Well, you're looking at one. Not going to break it down for you if you don't already know. But this is a Nymph. I believe it's a creature type that's existed in the past in Magic. But moving forward, it's an enchantment creature Nymph. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. I had a huge feeling once I saw Nelia's Intervention spoiled the other day. We're going to see something along these lines. Last time we saw a card like this, I believe it was that one Dinosaur. It was like a 5/5, and it can't attack or block unless you have like 10 permanents or something like that on the field. Something along those lines. But you could also play an additional land each turn. And I'm like, Nelia's Intervention. Search your library for up to X land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand. Okay, we're going to see something where we're going to be able to play additional lands. And here it is. I wasn't certain if it would be on a creature or an enchantment or what it would be, but it looks like we got both. Enchantment, creature, Nymph. And then lands you control have all basic land types in addition to other types. It's a 2/4. That seems really good. So, that, I mean, if they have all basic land types and other types, that means a swamp. That means a mountain, a plains, an island. It's whatever. That seems really good. It's only a 3-drop on a 2/4. I definitely think this is going to see some play. And think about the ramp with this. And then you get Nelia's Intervention out, and then you're dropping additional lands. Seems really good to me. So many, I can't even say it enough. So many good cards in the set. Discordant Piper. This is a 2-drop. Creature, zombie, satyr. Satyr. When Discordant Piper dies, create a white 0/1 goat creature token. Goat lives matter. That's all I'm saying. Throwing it out there one last time. The party is over. That was a flavor text on here. I thought that was kind of interesting. But creating a 0/1 goat creature token, not sure how amazing that's going to be, but it's something you can sacrifice, I don't think it's going to see a heck ton of play. Sorry, goat lovers out there, but yeah, it's not going to do too much. Siana, Captain of the Pilios. This is one card I really didn't look over too much. 3-drop. Legendary creature, human soldier. When Siana, Captain of the Pyles, am I saying that right? Pyles, maybe? Enters the battlefield. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may reveal an aura card from among them and put it into your hand. That's really good. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I like cards that do this, You're not tutoring your entire library, but you are looking, at the top 7 cards. That's a nice little dig right there, to find what you need. Whenever an aura you control becomes attached to a creature you control, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. That is very powerful. It's a deuce deuce. So it looks like we're going to be going wide. We're going to be going wide in this set. We're going to be going very tall in this set. There's just so many shenanigans in this standard. It's almost, I almost feel like we haven't seen a standard like this in a very long time. I mean, I know Theros, now we're Theros Beyond Death, kind of, similar, kind of creatures and types and all that stuff, with the enchantments and everything floating around. But this seems like a very, I can't say it enough. It's a very strong set. There's not much more to it. It's a very powerful set, a lot of playable cards. Here's an interesting one. Eaten Alive. Get a load of that artwork. Cool. 4-drop. Instant, which is great. It's an instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Look at the top card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard. Yep, that's going to see some play for darn sure. The fact that you can exile either a creature or a planeswalker speaks some volume there. And then the fact that you can look at the top card of your library too and put in your graveyard. So you're, whatever kind of graveyard shenanigans that you're trying to run there, I mean, that could help out a lot. Or, if it's something you don't need, just get rid of it, for the time being. Black's going to be a powerhouse for sure. Simic and Black so far, I think, are really dominating. Whirlwind Denial. This card, oh god, counter spells, man. It's a 3-drop. For each spell and ability your opponents control, counter it unless its controller pays 4. So if they were to play a bunch of stuff with the stack going on, you can just, I'm going to throw this down, and you can counter. I guess you would be able to counter, right, multiple abilities or multiple spells if they're playing them at once. I mean, no, maybe. I'm not too certain about this one. Counters, I despise counters. It just makes the game bland. But without counter decks, the game would not be what it is today, and it's kind of a necessity, really. No, and no. That's how I feel about this card, honestly. If you guys have more insight on this card, for each spell and ability your opponents control, counter it unless the controller pays 4. I was like, when I first read this, I'm like, is this an enchantment? Like, I didn't look to see if it was an instant. I'm like, is that an enchantment? That'd be entirely busted. A 3-drop and then enchantment. I'm like, okay, yeah, Wizards couldn't do that. But it is an instant. Very interesting card. It seems like a normal kind of counter spell, in my opinion. So, but you can counter abilities as well. That's the cool thing. So there you have it. Forget what I said about the stack. Moving along. Gravebreaker Lamia. Now, some of these, the text on the cards, you guys might notice, like, why does it look weird? Well, these are leaks. Any of these cards that you see with the funky looking text on it, like, I did this myself. I had to, like, translate the language, basically, and put it onto the card, enter my own text and all that, so it didn't appear in, Portuguese or Japanese or German, or Spanish, whatever the case may be. I just made it all English, so that's why it is how it is. Here we go. Enchantment creature, Snake Lamia. Life Link. It's a 5-drop. When Gravebreaker Lamia enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a card and put it into your graveyard. It's a Tutor! Oh my gosh! Not only that, but it has Life Link. And then spells from your graveyard cost 1 less to cast. So I believe, wouldn't that apply to escape mechanics, if I'm not mistaken? Because you would be playing them from the graveyard there. But then again, remember, you also have to exile a bunch of stuff too. So, I mean, how much use you're actually going to get out of that second ability, or third ability, I should say, it's up in the air still. But really cool. A Tutor card. A Tutor on a creature. That is phenomenal. Going to be annoying, all right? I can see, like, quite a few decks wanting to play something like this. Just the fact that you can search up any card. You may search your library for a card. And put it into your graveyard. Tutor into the graveyard, and then bring it out of the graveyard. I don't know why I kept missing that graveyard part. I thought I was saying hand for a second. Nonetheless, very, very powerful as well. These kind of cards, man, it seems like we haven't seen a lot of cards like this where you can tutor something and ditch it in your graveyard. I know there's some already out there, but this is pretty interesting, and I like those kind of decks where you can reanimate. I like reanimator decks, This would be pretty sweet for something like that, because you can go through your entire deck, and then you play a spell, which, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. There's some cards like that already. Or put a +1/+1 counter on it, Just anything that can bring something out of the graveyard and back on the battlefield interacts with this. Pretty nasty, because you can go find whatever card you want. I like it. Thrix, the Sudden Storm. Get a load of that artwork. Is that a kill? Who's this guy in the background? Who are you? Who brought you here? It's a 5-drop. Elemental Giant. Flash and Flying. 4/5. This is one of those cards that's really, really cool. And this is why I think Simic's going to have like it's going to be a powerhouse. Spells you cast with converted mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. That is great. If we're trying to have a deck that's going very tall with very large creatures, and you're running blue and green, this is some kind of synergy you want in here. You want your Nelia Keen-Eyed up in there. Not only will it reduce the cost of your Thrix the following turn, but also creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So now, for all your creature spells that are 5 or greater, you're going to be paying 2 less to play them. So let's just say it's 5. You're now paying 3. Huh? And there's also that one dinosaur. If you were running the 3 colors, green, blue, and red, you can also have your creature spells are reduced by 1. So you could be paying, essentially, for a 5-drop, you could be paying 2 if you hit the right curve. That's crazy. A 6 is now a 3. That's pretty ridiculous right there. I do think we're going to see decks with this in there. Not only that, but the spells can't be countered. You ever want to play a huge spell, and you're like, oh man, this is great. I got this huge, I got an 8/8 Kraken. I want to play this card. But one, it takes a lot to get out. And when you do cast it, it ends up getting countered. Bro, I just wasted 7/8 mana on this, and I did nothing. And my opponent just kicked my butt. Well, as long as you can get Sudden Storm to resolve, now your spells can't be countered. And that says spells you cast with converted mana cost 5. Spells with converted mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast. That's spells. That goes for anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Now, Nelia, yes, it has to be a creature. Okay, but this guy, this handsome giant right here, giant tribal. Oh my God, we are going giant tribal, 100%. Especially with cards like this. If you're going giant tribal, run that Sudden Storm, baby. Stuff like this is just really cool, and I love it. I'm gonna build decks all around this kind of stuff, and it's gonna be stupid because I like big creatures. I'm a simple man. I don't ask for much, but this is a fun card. I think it's gonna see a heck ton of play. Renata, Called to the Hunt. That little sweetheart chilling on the rock, huh? Probably Plymouth. 4-drop, legendary enchantment creature, demigod. So this is our demigod in green. Renata's power is equal to your devotion to green. One more time, what devotion is, for those of you a little newer, each green mana in the mana cost of permanents you control counts toward your devotion to green, okay? Each other creature you control enters a battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. This is where I think we're going to have a lot of fun with counters. There's a lot of cards that are putting or splashing counters on stuff. Keep in mind, Proliferate is in the format, in Standard right now. And there are some very, very strong cards with Proliferate on it, which means anything that has a counter on it, put an additional counter on it on your side of the field. Pretty big stuff, so keep an eye out for that for sure. Rolesk, Apex Hybrid. Will he have his time to shine? We're going to find out. I hope he does. I really do. Really cool card. Here is just a monstrosity of what's going on here. Euro, Titan of Nature's Wrath. Very interesting art on this one. It's a 3-drop in Simic. It is a 6/6 for 3. However, when Uro enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless it escaped. Whenever Uro enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life. Whenever it enters the battlefield or attacks, you gain 3 life and draw a card. So if you wanted to play this for 3, you would basically draw a card, and it would die. Well, you would draw a card, gain 3 life, and then it dies instantly. It goes right to the graveyard, if I'm not mistaken. Then you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Ridiculous ramp. Again, to go along with the other, to go along with cards like this, with Thrix and Keen-Eyed, all that, it just synergizes BEA beautifully. And it does have escape for 2 green and 2 blue. Exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. You may cast this card from your graveyard for its escape cost. Now, there's a great perk on that, but also this creature, it's a 6/6 dummy. It doesn't do anything. However, you are gaining the life and the card draw. The more cards you have, the better. That's usually what determines the outcomes of games. If that really wasn't known, or that really wasn't discovered until about a year into Magic the Gathering, or a couple years into Magic the Gathering, in 95, basically people are like, wait a minute, if I have a lot of card advantage, I can win. It was weird. There was a delay in that, before people figured it out. And also there had to be cards printed where you can draw a lot of cards, But very interesting card to say the least. I think there's high hopes for this. And the card draw, the life gain, there's so much life gain going on. It's just shenanigans everywhere. And yeah, sacrificing it unless it escaped. So basically they want you to pay 4 to get this to really stay on the battlefield. But there are other things, you get little perks if something's sacrificed and whatnot. Pretty cool. I do expect to see a lot of play. Very, very different. It's a mythic, by the way. Really cool. Annex, Hardened in the Forge. 3-drop is our red demigod. Annex's power is equal to your devotion to red. Whenever Annex or another non-token creature control dies, create a 1/1 red satire. I keep saying satire. Satyr creature token with this creature can't block. Keep that in mind. If the creature had power 4 or greater, create 2 of those tokens instead. Pretty legit. Now, if it said non-token, or if it said, I'm sorry, it does say non-token. If it said just any kind of creature, I was thinking like, wow, the one card that would go out this great is that 3-drop Chandra, which creates 2 1/1 tokens. Just imagine every time that's dying, you're just going wider and wider and wider and wider, But that's not the case. That's not how it works. It has to be an actual creature. Yeah, it has to be an actual creature. So this creature can't block if the creature had power 4 or greater. Ridiculous, man. I like it. I don't know, again, how much play it's going to see. Probably more play than some of the other demigods, I would assume. I definitely would. A very interesting card, to say the least. Here's a card that really just caught me off guard. It's Archon of Sun's Grace. It's basically, it reminds me of like an angel. It's got flying and lifelink. I mean, angels usually have those kind of abilities. But there's a crazy perk on here. Pegasus creatures you control have lifelink. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to have a Pegasus tribal, synergy going on here, because there's simply just not enough Pegasus in the current standard right now. But, it's a 3/4 flying lifelink and gives your other Pegasus, or all Pegasus creatures, lifelink. That's ridiculous. Constellation, whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white Pegasus creature token with flying. You run the right kind of synergy, you can base an entire build around this if you wanted to, and you got a flying threat. With does the Pegasus have lifelink? Whenever an enchantment is a battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 white. Okay, no, but the Pegasus, it's given lifelink. Granted, wow. Static abilities are fun, so that's pretty good. I just can't wait to see Red just get their butt kicked this entire meta. I really hope that's going to be what happens here. And cards like this are probably going to make it happen, Captain. Moving along. All right, what do we got? This card, I wasn't sure of the name of it. I do apologize. One of those cards that was leaked. It's a 3-drop enchantment aura. When this card enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on enchanted creature. At the beginning of your upkeep, double the number of +1/+1 counters on enchanted creatures. So that's pretty good. Put whatever creature it is, give something with trample. Let's see some trample. If that creature's got trample, go to Pound Town. Yes, destroy. Just keep on going. And this creature just gets larger and larger. You're doubling, not adding an additional +1/+1 counter. You're doubling the number of +1/+1 counters. So that's pretty fun. I like it. Very powerful aura there. Next, we have Kiora Bests the Sea God. Kiora Bests the Sea God. It's a weird name for the card. I don't know. Is it just me? You guys think that's a weird? I think it's a weird name. It's a 7-drop saga. Get a load of this thing. This is a game finisher. Like, you are going to end the game when you drop. If this thing resolves and it drops, all right, more than likely. Okay, that's how it's going to go. So it's going to find its way in like some blue control decks, and of course Commander and all that stuff. First one, create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token with hexproof. Your opponent can have fun trying to get rid of that thing. Not only that, but then the following turn, tap all non-land permanents target opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. That's very impressive, to say the least. So you got this 8/8 Kraken out. Let's just say it's the only creature. You're going to be able to swing in and get damage in because you're tapping down all your opponent's creatures. And it has hexproof. So, it dodges a lot of spells. It can't be targeted. It's pretty cool. For the third saga, gain control of target permanent and opponent controls. Untap it. You better be able to finish out the game with a card like this. I mean, it's a 7-drop, and you can even reduce it, make it you only have to pay 6 for it with that one card we discussed earlier in blue. the 5-drop. So that's something else to do. Just really, it's a powerhouse. This entire set just seems very powerful to me, and this kind of card is going to be fun. It's going to see play without a doubt. In control builds, those grindy control builds, probably like a 2 or 3 of, or something like that. Probably a 2 of, but it's going to close games out. Then we have Arena Trickster, Human Shaman. Whenever you cast your first spell during each opponent's turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Arena Trickster. It's a 3/3. There you have it. Vexing Gull, fun little artwork. You took my fish, you little rat bastard. It's a 3-drop bird, flash and flying on a 2/2. Pretty cool. Flash flyers are annoying to deal with. There you have that. Then we have Careless Celebrant. That's a deuce drop satyr shaman. When Careless Celebrant dies, it deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls. 2/1 possibly could see play. I wouldn't put it past this card. It could see play. I mean, just being able to deal some damage. If it had haste on it, this would be a really good card. But the fact that it doesn't might not see as much play. But you are doing a couple damage. All the lifelink going around, or life gain, and everything, I just don't think these kind of cards, I don't think red really stands a chance this upcoming meta. I could be wrong. I know they have the big red dude that can just cheat cards into play any creature, which is pretty crazy, and it gives them haste. So, I mean, that's something else to consider, too. I think red is not going to be able to go... They have to go big. They got to go tall. They got to, they can't just... we can't rely on these little burn decks, I think, in this upcoming standard. If I'm wrong, let me hear about that. But I think that's the way we're going right now. All right, that wraps it up. Wow. A lot of really, really cool cards in this. If you guys enjoyed this video, by all means, take a second, just hit the like button. And if you really enjoyed it, give it a share. Show someone, hey, even someone that doesn't play the game, or, friends that do play the game, let them know the new card's coming out. This card's really cool. I do like it. I'm looking forward to using that in a few builds. This thing, who knows what's going to happen with this thing. Unbelievable. And this, I love this. I love this right here. I really am not a huge fan of Simic decks. But I just like I like this card because it's reducing the casting cost of large spells and making it so they can't be countered, which is just stupid. All right? That I said stupid. This card's interesting as well. A lot of very cool cards, a lot of fun synergy. Eaten Alive, I'm glad we got something that can just take out a planeswalker or creature. It's pretty cool with a little ability on there. Siona, we'll see what she's all about. She is pretty powerful. Discord and Piper, whatever. This card, great for ramp. I knew it had to happen, and it's about to happen, baby. Very, very sweet. Which card did you guys enjoy out of all these spoilers the most? I think I like that blue dude. He looks pretty sweet, man. And I like going big. So, all right, I'm going to stop rambling. Again, if you enjoyed this video, by all means, hit the like button and check out these other videos that are over here. Yeah, over here. Okay, and up there and that way. Okay. All right, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you so much. Skadink, skadink, skadoosh.